What is going on, everyone? We are back with another episode from our Bears franchise in Madden 17. It is week 5. It's time for our first mid-season update of the year. The Bears, somehow we are 4-0. I honestly do not know how we have not lost. We've gotten really lucky. I thought we were going to lose last week against the Cardinals, but we pulled it out. But getting into this mid-season update, first we're going to take a look at the re-signing player situation. We have a few guys that are up for re-signing. Zach Miller has been playing great, but you see his age. He's 32 years old. I just don't know if I want to commit 3 years and $8 million to him, so we're going to wait and see how he plays for the rest of the season. Pat O'Donnell, not worried about re-signing a punter. Jermon Bushrod, he's on a one-year contract. He only wants one more, so I'm not going to worry about him to the offseason. And then Akeem Hicks is the only guy I might re-sign during the season, but we're going to wait and see how he plays a little bit more. We might actually not end up re-signing any other guys. The only one I was really worried about was Kyle Fuller. We re-signed him last week. So now moving on, those trade offers. I asked you guys last video what you thought we should do. Still debating, what do we do? Do we trade Lamar Houston for a second rounder? Do we trade Jones Cordy? And that more talks about, do we trade for a new running back? Jeremy Langford and Jordan Howard have not looked good the first 4 weeks of the season. These are the guys I highlighted in the last episode as the options that we could maybe trade for. I do see now Dion Lewis, since last week, got hurt last week, so he no longer is really an option. So James White looks to be the only option there with the Patriots. I do believe Dion Lewis will be back in a couple weeks, but we kind of want to make a move now versus in a few weeks. And then Derrick Henry, that last option. So again, I'm going to ask, what do you think we should do? Do we make a trade for one of these guys? Do we get rid of Jeremy Langford? I did take the time to look and see if any of these teams wanted Jeremy Langford, which they don't, which doesn't surprise me because they're all running back heavy teams. I did look though, and it looks like the Colts might take Jeremy Langford. They need a halfback, so we could trade for a halfback and then trade Jeremy Langford. And then also compounding all this is Kenyon Drake got hurt last week, so we only have 2 healthy running backs. So this would be the time to make a trade. So let me know in the comments down below. Again, what do you think we should do there? But now getting into this update, let's take a look at the standings. Now Steelers lead the NFC North at 3-1. Browns and Bengals tied at 2-2. And then the Ravens are 0-2-1. Already we have a tie this season. We'll actually see the team they tied with here in a second. As we look at the AFC South, it's the Colts and Texans tied at 3-1. Jaguars at 2-2. And there is that other team. The Titans are 0-3-1. Not a great start to the year for the Titans. Moving on now to the AFC East, it is going to be the Jets at 3-0. And look at this, the Patriots, Bills, and Dolphins are all 1-3. The Bills and Dolphins have both lost 3 in a row, so not a great start for any of those teams. Jets, though, looking very good there atop that division. Chargers as well, they are 4-0. Chiefs and Broncos are 2-2, and the Raiders are 0-3. Not a good start to the season for the Raiders. Thought they were much improved last year, but looks like they're taking a step back here in this season. NFC North, there are your Bears. The Packers are 2-2. Lions and Vikings at 1-3. So we have jumped out to a nice little cushion there, and we'll see if we can hold on to that. We'll have a test immediately as the Packers will be our next game. Moving on now to the NFC South, it's the Buccaneers in first at 3-1, but all 3 other teams right behind them: Saints, Falcons, and Panthers, all 2-2. Moving on now to the NFC East, it is going to be the Eagles at 3-0, but look at this division. Giants and Cowboys both 3-1, and the Redskins 1-3, but still, as always, this division very, very competitive. I'm sure all 3 of those teams will stay in the hunt for most of the season. Moving on now to the NFC West final division, the Seahawks, and this one is the most surprising. Seahawks are 4-0, Rams are 1-3, Cardinals and 49ers are both 0-4. We did hand the Cardinals their 4th loss of the season, but still surprised to see them 49ers 0-4. That's not quite as big of a surprise. 49ers not great. Moving on now to the stats here, Zach Dudley, as he has 1,100 yards, almost 1,200, 7 touchdowns, but 6 interceptions. He's been throwing the ball a lot. He's averaging 296 yards per game, is thrown at 62% completion, not horrible, but his QB rating is only 83. He's been sacked 11 times. We just have been throwing it too much, but that is because the running game just has not been there. Jeremy Langford, as you can see now, 233 yards rushing, just 3.9 yards per carry, 58 yards per game. He has been getting a bulk of the carries, but still only able to produce 58 yards per game. Jordan Howard, 18 for 77. He is averaging 4.3 yards per carry, but that is not much better than Langford. He does have 3 touchdowns, though, and 19 yards per game. And then Dudley, 6 for 39. Haven't ran with him in a lot. And then Kenyon Drake barely has had any opportunity, and now he is hurt. Receiving game, Zach Miller leading the way with 24 catches. Alshon Jeffrey down there, 7 for 113 before he got injured. But Miller also leading in yards, 289. Wilson, 17 for 222. White, 15 for 211. Kevin White has had a very slow start to the season. He was really good last year before he got hurt, but he has not looked very good so far in this year. And then you see we're spreading the ball quite a bit now that we don't have Alshon Jeffrey. And then it's Miller and Wilson with 2 touchdowns, White, Langford, and Drake with 1 apiece. Moving on now to the defense, it is going to be Adrian Amos, the guy we moved to strong safety in the offseason. He has not missed a beat, leading the team with 33 tackles, Danny Trevathan with 24, Voorhees Greg, our new rookie, 22 tackles, Freeman with 19, and Floyd with 18 tackles for loss. It is going to be 5 for Danny Trevathan, 4 for Voorhees Greg, 4 for Freeman, Hicks, and the other rookie, Cecil Rudd, picking up 4 as well. McPhee with 3, Amos and Floyd with 2. Sacks, this is going to be a big number. Leonard Floyd, 7.5 sacks already through 4 games. He's had a monster start, and a monster start as well for the rookie Rudd. He's got 4.5, McPhee with 4.5, Hicks with 2, Freeman and Rollins, the corner, with 1.5 sacks, and then Freeman as 1 as well to round it out. Interceptions, it is going to be Kyle Fuller sitting there with 3, and then only 2 other guys, Trevathan and Callahan, with 1 apiece. So there are your stats updates for the team. Now looking around the league, Drew Brees, no surprise, leading the league in passing, 1,258 yards, 2 more than Aaron Rodgers, but Zach Dudley, there he is, the rookie, in third. Dak Prescott behind him with 11-17. Then looking at touchdowns, it is going to be Russell Wilson, and look at this, 15 touchdowns, no interceptions. How's that for a start to the season? Rodgers with 10, Prescott with 10, and then we are going to find Jay Cutler with 9 touchdowns. Actually, not a bad start to the season for Jay Cutler, but then there is Dudley with 7, and then looking at interceptions, we're not at the top, but we're very close. Stafford, the only other guy with more picks than us, with 7, but there we are tied with Jimmy Garoppolo, and this just is not good. We are on pace to throw 24 picks, so we have got to do something about that. We got to throw the ball less. Running game, Ezekiel Elliott, no surprise, leading the league with 424 yards, 373 for Jamal Charles, 365 for Devontae Freeman. Won't be finding any Bears on that list. And the touchdowns, it's Elliott with 4, and actually a ton of guys with 4 touchdowns. So that obviously leaving some room for some competition. Receiving game, Keenan Allen is the clear man in the lead here, 519 yards, only guy close to 500 yards. Cook's actually the only guy over 400, and there's quite a few guys under 400 there in that 300 range, as Travis Kelce, the lone tight end there at 369. Receiving touchdowns, Jermaine Kearse leads the way with 5, as a big part of Russell Wilson's 15 touchdown start of the season. And then we do have Jordy Nelson and Adrian Peterson up there with 3 receiving touchdowns. Defense, it is a second-year player, Miles Jack, leading the league with 44 tackles. Marshall, Bowman, and Alonzo there. Tackles for loss, it is going to be 9 for Geno Atkins, 7 for Dan Williams, and 6 for J.J. Watt and some other guys. Sacks, this is where we should find Leonard Floyd, but for some reason this game occasionally leaves our players off the list. He has 7.5 sacks, but you see the guys with 6.5 in the interceptions. This is where we should find Kyle Fuller in second, but he's nowhere to be found. Darius Slay leads the league with 4, and then there's a trio there with 3. Now looking at the team figures, we are 11th in offensive yards, 4th in defensive yards, a big reason for us being undefeated. We are 7th in points scored. In points against, we are going to find ourselves in 9th place. So the team, if you compare those numbers to last year, we are much improved, but there is still a long ways to go in this season. In the first, I'm not going to say the first true test of the season, because I think every game has been a test, but another divisional game on the road as well in Lambeau. It is always hard to play in Lambeau Field. That is going to be coming to you next time. The 4-0 Bears on the road to take on the 2-2 Packers. Again, don't forget, leave a comment down below. What do we do with the running back situation? I want to try and make a move before the Packers game, or at least in that episode, whether it's before or after the game. So let me know what you think down below. Otherwise, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please go and give it a like. I'd really appreciate it. And subscribe to see any future videos that I make. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.